I'm the Irish guy, and I'm sorry, but lads, it's hot! Yes, I sound like my creepy uncle describing the plot of Teletubbies, but lads, today I'm going to rank every Premier League club based on who's had the best transfer window. And this is sure to enrage a lot of people, but lads, come on, it's too hot to be mad. Just drink a Capri Sun and peel some skin off your shoulders. Doesn't everyone have that? Or is it just me? But, I mean, another tip, make sure you don't get sun cream in your mouth. Right, let's go. 20th Bournemouth. Bournemouth! What? What are you doing? I'm sorry, has anyone seen Scott Parker? Has he just spent the summer locked in his auntie's basement? Can someone please fetch him some food and water? Because honestly, unless his life is coinciding with the plot of Silence of the Lambs, then there is no earthly reason why he's not demanding that his employers get the checkbook out for new players. So far, Bournemouth have been about as busy as a Jeremy Kyle contestant eating pizza on the couch. All you've done so far is just loan Gavin Kilkenny to Stoke and ditch Robbie Brady to Preston on a free transfer. You've watched an experienced leader like Gary Cahill walk out the door, and you've just signed midfielder Joe Rothwell from Blackburn and 29-year-old right-back Ryan Fredericks from West Ham without even spending a single penny. Lads, Maxim Demmett is the owner who gave Eddie Howe millions and millions and millions of pounds to spend. But clearly he trusts Scott Parker with his money, the same way you trust a killer clown to babysit your kids. Aussie, Bournemouth, so far, it's been hopeless. 19th Leicester. Again, Leicester fans must be so bored. The only transfer business has happened. Midfielder Dennis Pratt has returned from his loan at Torino, but your creative live wire wing spark Ademola Lookman has just gone back to RB Leipzig's bench. I mean, that's it. To me, with Lookman gone, this is just a weaker squad. Yes, you've held on to Yuri Tielemans for now, that is great. But everything else, about as exciting as meatloaf flavored ice cream. Oh, this video is going to be controversial. But first of all, this video is sponsored by Top 11. No, it's not the football version of Top Trumps, you know, the card game for nerds. No, this is a free-to-play football management mobile game for iOS, Android, Huawei, and web browser, where you get to run a football club. Yes, you! Even the one sitting at home on the couch covered in Pringles crumbs. Lads, we all know when it goes well, some football owners are held up as messiahs, almost like priests of the sport, without the unpleasantness. But when it goes badly, oh, the owners are lucky if they don't get egged in the street. So Top 11 is a cross-platform mobile game, and using the one account, you can play the game anywhere, anytime on your iOS or Android phone, or even on your desktop computer when you're pretending to work. I mean, finally, you can be doing something on the internet where you don't have to immediately delete your history in a cold sweat. Yeah, I'm looking at you. We all know what you're up to behind closed doors. But yeah, you've complete control around the club over tactics, player management, your stadium, the club logo, and there's a 24/7 live transfer market where you can bid for players. Top 11 is 3D live matches too. Yeah, 3D. I'm sorry, is this a phone app or Jurassic Park? So you can compete against all your mates and others from around the world. So go on, hit the link in the description and start playing Top 11. 18th Leeds. Some people seem to think that Leeds have won the transfer window. I don't understand. Just what? Am I missing something here? This club have cashed in both Rafinha and Calvin Phillips. And the sad thing is, your two best players were sold, and you've pocketed less than £100 million. Together, they've been sold for the price of a Lukaku. It's just such horrible business. But in comes Brendan Aronson, a 30-year-old attacking midfielder from RB Salzburg. Then Lewis Sinistra, a £22 million left winger from Feyenoord. And you brought in a Phillips replacement in £15 million midfielder Tyler Adams from RB Leipzig. And a £13 million RB Salzburg right back Rasmus Christensen. Oh yeah, and another defensive midfielder, £10 million Mark Roker from Bayern Munich's bench. Oh yeah, and teenage midfielder Darko Gyabi from Man City under-23s. I mean, sure, that sounds like a lot of noise, but none of those footballers have ever played a single minute of Premier League football in their lives. I mean, most of these guys have just been dragged out of the Red Bull franchise. I mean, Sinistra scored 23 goals for Feyenoord last season. Great! Yeah, Alireza Jahanbash did those sort of numbers for AZ Alkmaar, and he was mostly a walking pair of soiled underpants and a Brighton shirt. I mean, Jesse Marsh has poured hipster fairy dust over Ellen Road with these signings, but it's like he's trying to be the cleverest man in the room. I mean, who gave him this shopping list? Lawrence McKenna? Yes, I know the football hipsters worldwide will stuff their fantasy football teams with these picks, but honestly, these guys won't settle, and they'll be written off as garbage flops by Halloween. To me, this is a horrible window for Leeds. Oh, come on, Jesse! Okay, now I'm beginning to sound like a frustrated Heisenberg, or Woody from Toy Story 2 when he's trying to get off of that cowboy dog underneath Andy's bed. But honestly, Jesse, would have killed you to sign some players with Premier League experience? 17th Everton. Remember when people were wondering whether or not Everton had the money to spend this summer? Well, it's July 18th and they haven't moved a single penny. So what do you think? In comes James Tarkowski from Burnley on a free. He's a decent centre-half, I guess, but lads, Frank Lampard wanted him at Chelsea, so clearly he thinks JT is better than he is. In my eyes, he's soon to be an over-the-hill marmalade pancake of a centre-half. They've sold Richarlison for £52 million. John Joe Kenny has quit the club for Hertha Berlin on a free. I mean, sure, the ghost of Cenk Tosun has finally been erased, and they've loaned out Jared Branthwaite to PSV, and they've released 3 footballers, one of which is a man who must not be named. But yeah, I know they're wanting to spend £25 million on Wolves benchwarmer midfielder Morgan Gibbs-White, but really, you had a better player in Donny van de Beek at your club last season, and still, under Frank Lampard, he's still had the impact of a teddy bear wiped in poo. It's just a horrible window so far. By the way lads, quick reminder, if you're new here, hit that big fat red subscribe button, alright? Absolute legends, back into the video. 16th Brighton. Yeah, this isn't great. Selling Yves Bissouma to Tottenham for £26 million, obviously it leaves a waterlogged hole in Brighton's team, and they've also flushed away a lot of their reserves. Lads, remember when Aaron Connolly was an Irish wonder kid, netting 2 goals against Tottenham? Yeah, when he did that, there was so much Disney-themed hope in my eyes. But now he's currently on loan in Venice. This is a scruffy lad from Galway, playing in Serie B, and probably spending his afternoons eating cheese sandwiches on a romantic gondola boat with his sister. It's all just a bit weird. Anyway, Brighton have also signed 18-year-old striker Julio Enciso from Libertad for £9 million, 20-year-old Ivorian left winger Simon Andegraff from Nordsjælland, and a bunch of players have returned from loan deals, but it all just seems a bit pointless. 15th Fulham. This window, it's average for Fulham. Lads, you remember all the hype when Fulham signed Johnstone? Lads, Xavi has already admitted, if he had been the Barcelona boss in 2017, he'd have signed this guy from Nice. I wouldn't brag about that too much now, Xavi, because that guy you used to drool over as if he was a steak burger has now just signed for Hull on a free. Yikes. Listen, Fulham have signed 2 midfielders aged 26. João Palhinha from Sporting Lisbon for £18 million. That looks like a strong midfield signing, or at least he should be. But I mean, again, Seri was supposed to be that guy for you in the Premier League, and he was about as useful as a chocolate box full of poo. Andres Pereira is joined from Man United for £9 million, but this just stinks of when QPR used to hoover up Man United rejects, and it did not work. Pereira is a guy who already switched off from European football in his brain when he went back to Brazil on loan last season. He's not going to have the stomach for relegation scrap in London, and obviously selling Portuguese teenage sensation Fabio Carvalho to Liverpool for just £5 million will always leave a taste of vomit in every Fulham fan's mouth, and only receiving £13 million from Napoli for Andre Zambo Frankengrisa, that isn't great business either. It's not been a great window so far. 14th Crystal Palace. Right, 29-year-old goalie Sam Johnstone from West Brom on a free. Looks like a good signing, right? But he just gives me Jack Butland vibes. Someone who had all the attention from the European clubs when he was in the Premier League. But I mean, relegation quickly killed his career with a cartoon anvil. They spent £13 million on loan midfielder Czech Doucouré, but he's been in London less than a week, and he's already involved in a blackmail scandal, so he's already a big baggage headache. I mean, honestly, it's like finding out on your second Tinder date that she's on the run for pulling the plug on her gran. 18-year-old forward Malcolm Ebuwai is an exciting addition from Derby County, yes, but considering he's already been on the books of Chelsea, Arsenal and Rangers, I'm guessing this is a man with itchy feet and the loyalty of that Jungle Book snake, so just beware of Malcolm, lads. Probably won't be there for long. 13th Wolves. This is an average window so far for Wolves. I mean, losing Robin Sass on a free to Besiktas, why did that happen again? To me, this man has been an integral part of the club for the last 6 years, so that's a bit weird. You've also dumped left back Marçal, loaned Keanu Hoover to PSV, and sold Ruben Vinagre to Sporting Lisbon. Yes, you've tied up a £15 million permanent deal for Hee Chang Hwang, but it's the £21 million signing of Nathan Collins from Burnley that saves this. That's the one that excites me. So signing him, and the fact you managed to keep your paws on Ruben Neves, and so far, yeah, I'll push you up as high as 13th, even though you haven't really done much. 12th, Liverpool. Liverpool fans are going to be wanting to pull off my jaw, but listen, Darwin Núñez from Benfica for £67 million. That is an exciting transfer. It just is. And with Fabio Carvalho coming in from Fulham, I mean, just like when you raided Craven Cottage for Harvey Elliott, it's clever business. Clearly that club are now making a habit of stealing Fulham's children. I mean, Jurgen Klopp might as well paint his face white, hide in a London sewer, and call himself Pennywise the Clown. And yes, £4.5 million for Aberdeen's 18-year-old right back Calvin Ramsey might end up looking like incredible business. And you've just pocketed £28 million for bench warmers like Nico Williams, Takumi Minamino, and Marco Grujic. And you've also finally been able to shred Lourdes Karius' contract, dumping him in the woods and promising to never see him again. But lads, you've lost a useful impact sub in Divock Origi to AC Milan, and you've sold a club legend like Sadio Mane to Bayern Munich for less than £30 million. Losing Mane, it's a horrible outcome for the club. So, have you really strengthened your team? To me, it's a 12th, 11th Chelsea. Chelsea confused me. You've made two absolutely brilliant signings, but I can't overlook who you've allowed to leave. The good news is, yeah, you signed Raheem Sterling from Man City for £50 million. To me, I assume that transfer would have been impossible, but clearly Pep Guardiola has decided to be generous. That's an incredible buy, as is Kalidou Koulibaly from Napoli for £34 million. But you've lost both Andreas Christensen and Antonio Rudiger to the El Clasico boys, and for less than a packet of quavers. Not getting a single penny for 2/3 of a Champions League winning defence, that makes my brain bleed. I mean, Chelsea also lost out on signing Rafinha and Gabriel Jesus, and yeah, they did want both, but the big one, instead of trying to make your £100 million superstar Romelu Lukaku work, you've just given up and loaned him back to Inter Milan. You've effectively traded two defenders for one, and ditched a proven top-class centre forward for another winger. It's all just very muddy. 10th West Ham. West Ham have had a decent window, convincing Alphonse Areola to swap PSG for West Ham, despite mostly being a backup fiddle to Lucas Fabianski last season. That was an important signing. But Neaf Aguirre, the 26-year-old centre-back, just signed in a £31 million deal from Rennes. Because of the money spent, I just sniff a flop. But Flynn Downs is a clever £10 million signing from Swansea. He's a neat midfield passer, and the fact that he's a boyhood West Ham fan, you might as well tattoo Mark Noble replacement on his forehead. It's been a decent window on paper, but I'm not convinced. West Ham. 9th, Aston Villa. Aston Villa did great business in June, but I think now Steven Gerrard's probably just eating custard creams on his beanbag because they've been quiet for weeks. But lads, Boubacar Kamara was a Marseille midfielder linked with Man United in January, and yeah, you just signed him on a free. Ludwig Augustinsson is a left-back replacement for Matt Target on the bench, signing him on loan from Sevilla. The Coutinho deal is now permanent for just £18 million. Second choice goalie Robin Olsen has also arrived in a permanent deal from Roma. But the big one was pipping Newcastle to the £27 million signing of Brazil centre-back starter Diego Carlos, again from Sevilla. Lads, he could be a superstar signing. Brilliant business, Villa. 8th, Southampton. Southampton are having a great window. I'm sorry, but they are. Put some respect on their business. I mean, they've given their bench a polish. Out go Harry, Lewis, Fraser, Forster, and finally Shane Long. Lads, Forster and Long have been there since 2014. End of an era. But lads, you've raided Man City's under-23 team, Gavin Bazinu. I'm gonna say it. Outside the top 6 clubs, this is the transfer of the season. I mean, you definitely won't be conceding 9 goals in one match with him in goal. Not only have they annoyed Portsmouth by signing their player of the season, but lads, he's a 20-year-old Irish superstar. He's the real deal in goal. The modern day Shea Given. And you've pinched him from Man City for just £12 million. And Romeo Lavia is an 18-year-old midfield wonder kid. You bought him from Man City for £10 million. I mean, he could realistically be worth 8 times that by 2025. He's just the latest in the Belgian golden generation. Armel Belacaccio is a £9 million defender who's 20 years old, arriving from VfL Bochum. But lads, it's Joe Aribo, 25-year-old Rangers midfielder, arriving for just £5 million. Another excellent sign. This is brilliant. Saints business. Fantastic. 7th, Newcastle. This is going to change. It has to change. Newcastle need to spend more money. Listen, losing French teenage wonder kid striker Hugh Ekitike to PSG, that one will sting. Especially if he does turn out to be the next Kylian Mbappe. Then I'm pretty sure Eddie Howe will look back at this summer and feel like stuffing a penguin's brain up his nose. Listen, signing Sven Botman, the Lille centre-back, for £30 million, that's great business. As is making Matt Target's loan deal permanent. Finally, the Geordians can stop worrying about whether or not Jamal Lewis is going to come good. Spoilers, he's not. And a £10 million deal for Nick Pope, the Burnley goalie, yes, but England squad regular. That's outstanding business. But lads, they need more. 6th, Tottenham. Everyone is overrating Tottenham's transfer window. What have they actually done? Spend £52 million on Richarlison. A footballer so frustrating, he should come with a migraine warning. Yves Bissouma from Brighton for £26 million is decent, sure, but in my head, Tanguy Ndombele is a better all-round midfielder. And look what happened to him. And who else? A 33-year-old Ivan Perisic on a free? I mean, that's a bit meh. Who else? Fraser Forster, the guy who looks like he belongs in the Addams family. Oh yeah, and Clement Longley on loan from Barcelona. Some error-prone, erratic pancake off centre half, and you decided to dub a useful 24-year-old impact sub like Steven Bergwijn to Ajax for less than £30 million. There's nobody remember him scoring twice in the last minute at Leicester to basically save your season. Can everyone please just calm down? To me, this transfer window, really, it's about as exciting as stuffing toast up your nose. 5th, Man United. Man United need to do more, but so far, ignore all the Ronaldo noise. It's a decent window. I mean, Tyrell Malacia is a £13 million left-back backup from Feyenoord. I mean, his signing is just whatever. he'll barely play in the Premier League. It just stinks of Marcus Rojo. But Lisandro Martinez, this guy was Matthijs de Light's Ajax replacement at centre back in 2019, and clearly he fits with Erik ten Hag's system. And for £50 million, surely he's going to play. But who are you going to drop, Eric? The captain or the World Cup winner with 4 Champions Leagues? Honestly, this Martinez deal has already given Eric a big fat headache. But I've already said it, Christian Eriksen on a free is incredible business. You flushed out Paul Pogba to Juventus. Yeah, it would have been nice to keep Edison Cavani for another year, but honestly, it's a decent window so far. 4th Man City. Yeah. A football team with just signed Erling Haaland for £54 million, and I'm only rating their transfer window 4th? Listen, yes, Haaland is a great signing, but £45 million for Calvin Phillips, the modern day Fabian Delph, that would underwhelm me. And losing crucial squad players like Sterling and Gabriel Jesus for less than £100 million, if I was a City fan, to me, that'd be like walking in your granddad making love to himself in the toilet. It would just make me very uncomfortable. 3rd, Nottingham Forest. I'll be honest, I don't think Nottingham Forest are going to spend any money. And yes, the June bombshell news that their goalie Bryce Samba wanted to quit for France, that could have rocked them, but no, they've just gone and upgraded and got Dean Henderson from Man United on loan. Oh yeah, and Wayne Hennessy on a free. Yes, £18 million spent on Liverpool reserve right back Nico Williams. It's definitely overpaid. But £18 million for Union Berlin striker Teo Awanyi, a Bundesliga goal machine? That's about right. Yeah, Julian Baccone is a right back arriving from Troyes for £9 million, but is a £7 million capture of defensive wonderkid Omar Richards from Bayern Munich. I mean, why Bayern Munich? Ever wanted to sign a wingback from Reading? I'll never know. That was never going to work. But he is a good player. Oh yeah, and Musa Nakate, a £9 million signing from Mainz. Apparently a decent centre back. Lads, this has been a great window for Forest. 2nd, Brentford. I'm sorry, but this is a top transfer window for Brentford. Yeah, Christian Eriksen choosing Man United was disappointing, but I mean, they couldn't do anything about that. It's the signing of Bologna fullback Aaron Hickey for £14 million. I was convinced he'd wound up at Arsenal or Liverpool. I mean, who saw Brentford? Honestly, Hickey to Anfield and Ramsey to Brentford, that would have made more sense in my head. So, what a coup to get him in. And similarly, Keane Lewis Potter, a 21-year-old English winger with 12 championship goals last season for Hull. I expected him to be snapped up by West Ham. Instead, you've got him on a 6-year contract with the option of a 7th year and for less than £20 million. And the icing on the cake, bringing in 27-year-old Albanian international goalie Thomas Krakosha from Lazio on a free. Unbelievable. Now, just make sure you don't send Ivan Toney. And this has been incredible. 1st, Arsenal. Get Gabriel Jesus in your fantasy football team. How have Arsenal convinced him to join the Europa League? This man is an incredible goal scorer, and you sign him for just £45 million. I'm calling it. He's going to be the Premier League signing of the season. I mean, I'm going to see this guy leave Man City for Bayern Munich or Barcelona, not Arsenal on Thursday nights. And attacking midfielder Fabio Fiera has arrived from Porto in a £22 million deal. I mean, he just gives me Bernardo Silva 2017 vibes and could be incredible. You flushed out the fat pineapple Alexander Lacazette to Lyon on a free, and yes, losing out on Rafinha will be gutting, but you've snapped up Brazil teenage wonderkid Marquinhos from Sao Paulo, a kid supposedly so good Wolverhampton Wanderers were threatening to sue. I mean, I'm sorry lads, but Arsenal, right now, they're winning the transfer window. Anyways, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Who is winning the transfer window? Who's losing it? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe as always. I'll talk to you in a while.